Thank you for joining me today on the VM Trooper video blog site. Today I'll be going over how to assign permissions properly if you want to limit administrative access to a particular cluster or ESX server. So first we'll go to the cluster and assign the user that you want to be an administrator of this environment. So we'll add permission, and I created a dummy account that I use just to test that I'm getting the appropriate view. So I'm going to add this user, and I'm going to give him, let me try that again. So I'm going to add this user and give him the administrator role for the cluster. And that should be it, right? I mean, I'll be able to log in and create virtual machines and use storage. So let's see if my permissions were assigned correctly. Okay, so I'm in vSphere and I'm able to see the cluster that I'm going to be administrator of. So I go and make sure that I'm ready to assign storage. But wait a second, for some reason I'm not seeing my storage here. That means that there may be something wrong with my permissions. Let's find out for sure by trying to create a new virtual machine. Alright, so we create a typical custom machine. Now, I don't have permission for some reason, even though I have administrator access of the cluster. So there are things that are missing, such as, not being able to add a virtual machine to the inventory, and also, as we saw before, our access to configure storage is not there because I can't even browse the data stores. So if you find that this is happening when you're trying to assign administrative permissions, we'll show you how to actually go about doing that. Okay, so as we saw on the previous screen, the user did not have the correct privileges to assign storage and complete the creation of his virtual machine, even though he had administrator privileges on the local cluster or host. In that instance, we were working with a cluster. Okay, so in vCenter, in a vCenter setup only, you need to assign rights at a higher level than at the host level. And for this instance, we'll be assigning rights at the data center level. So in addition to being a local administrator on the ESX host, at the data center level, we need to assign some granular permissions. We don't want to give them blanket administrator rights for a security concern. And the first couple of rights are allocate space and browse data store. That should be fairly obvious, letting us assign storage to the virtual machine. The next one is the network setting, allowing us to assign a network as we're creating the virtual machine. And then at the virtual machine level, you want to be able to add disks, okay, or add or remove devices to the virtual machine definition. And then under inventory, you want to be able to create a new virtual machine. The create from existing right is optional, and only if you're going to be letting the users create a new virtual machine from one of the existing machines on its assigned host. Then under provisioning, we want to be able to allow customization and deployment of a template. Now, speaking of templates, Normally you need to have the read customization specifications and modify customization specification rights as well. However, the right does not get assigned at this level. In order for the user to customize the template that he's deploying, we need to create another set of rights, read template configuration. That's just a custom name that I came up with. Here, where's the read customization specifications? I'm not sure if this is the correct way to do it. However, giving this read-only right to the user needs to be done at the vCenter level. So not at the data center level, but at the vCenter level, at the top object of the vCenter architecture. I'll do more research to see if there's any other way to allow this to happen. But for now, this is the only way I've been able to get it to work, by giving this specific right at the top level of the vCenter architecture. Okay, so I have now given those rights to the user. Well, I've given them to him already in a previous step while I was preparing this video. So I'll go back to the vSphere client's login for the test user that I'm using. Alright, and we're going to go ahead and create a new virtual machine. Okay, so we'll just go through the typical steps, creating a new virtual machine. Select the storage, you're able to see the storage. And we'll just choose to edit the virtual machine settings before completion, just to show you that everything is working as expected. I was able to add the virtual network. If I did a custom setup, I would have seen that as well. I would have been able to perform that step. And I have my storage and all of the different settings that we need for a virtual machine to run correctly. So I just click finish, and that's it. The virtual machine is created, and I can go ahead and deploy my operating system. Okay, so that's it for setting granular permissions for a user to create virtual machines successfully while limiting the scope of his permissions. Feel free to contact me at vmtrooper@gmail.com or at www.vmtrooper.com if you'd like to discuss this blog or video blog entry any further. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.